The massive alien vessel hung silently above Earth's atmosphere, its metallic surface gleaming against the blue and green planet below. Captain Tyke Park studied the holographic displays, his long fingers tracing the outlined continents of humanity's homeworld. Around him, the bridge of the Krelthar diplomatic ship hummed with a mixture of curiosity and barely concealed contempt. Another primitive species, he muttered to his communications officer, Yuna Kim. She nodded, her eyes scanning the incoming data streams about human civilization. The Krelthar had encountered thousands of developing species across the galaxy, and they all followed a predictable pattern: submission, integration, or total elimination. Humans would be no different. The first transmission was calculated to be both a greeting and a subtle demonstration of technological superiority. Radio waves carried a message that was part diplomatic introduction, part not-so-subtle reminder of the Krelthar's advanced capabilities. They expected a response of fear, perhaps even desperate attempts to negotiate. What they didn't expect was David Huang. In a small research facility outside Seoul, the lead scientist of the United Nations Extraterrestrial Research Division was anything but impressed. While other researchers panicked or celebrated, David remained calm, his sharp eyes analyzing every pixel of the alien transmission. Years of preparing for potential first contact hadn't been wasted. He had developed protocols, communication strategies, and most importantly, a deep understanding of potential extraterrestrial psychology. "They're trying to intimidate us," David said quietly to his team. Young researchers around him held their breath, watching the alien transmission on multiple screens. Some looked scared, others excited. But David saw something else: an opportunity. The alien message was structured to showcase technological might, complex mathematical equations, references to advanced physics, subtle hints about interstellar travel capabilities. To most, it would seem like an overwhelming display of power. To David, it was just another puzzle waiting to be solved. Yuna Kim prepared another transmission, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. The message was crafted to remind humans of their technological inferiority, a diplomatic strategy that had worked countless times before. Subtle references to the Krelthar's centuries of space exploration, their vast network of colonized planets, their advanced weaponry. But humans were different. In military research centers, scientific laboratories, and strategic command rooms across the planet, teams were already analyzing, decoding, and preparing. The alien transmission wasn't a threat. It was a challenge. Captain Tyke Park leaned back in his command chair, confident in his civilization's superiority. The Krelthar had conquered or assimilated hundreds of species. Humans would be no different. Their technology was primitive, their understanding of the universe limited, or so they thought. David Huang's team was already developing response protocols, not of submission but of careful, calculated communication. They understood something the Krelthar didn't: that intelligence wasn't just about technology but adaptability, creativity, and unexpected problem-solving. The alien ship continued, its silent vigil above Earth, waiting for a response that would confirm their expectations of a submissive, frightened species. Radio waves continued to transmit, carrying messages of technological superiority and implied threats. But beneath those transmissions, something was brewing. A species that had survived world wars, technological revolutions, and countless challenges was about to show the galaxy exactly what they were made of. Humans were listening, and they were preparing. The first contact had begun, but neither side truly understood what was coming. The Krelthar saw a primitive species waiting to be conquered. Humans saw an opportunity to prove themselves on a galactic stage. Captain Tyke Park would soon learn that underestimating humans was the biggest mistake his civilization could make. The stage was set. The players were ready, and the game of galactic politics was about to change forever. The research facility buzzed with intense energy. David Huang stood at the center of a room filled with holographic displays, his team working with a focus that bordered on obsession. They had analyzed every detail of the alien transmission, and now they were turning those insights into something extraordinary. "We need to be faster," David said, pointing at complex schematics showing quantum adaptive systems. Young scientists around him worked without pause, powered by a mixture of national pride and pure scientific curiosity. Ji-Hoon Lee, a brilliant quantum physicist, had been developing experimental technology that could potentially rewrite the rules of modern warfare. His breakthrough came from an unexpected combination of quantum entanglement principles and adaptive AI learning algorithms. "Most people think technology is about hardware," Ji-Hoon explained to his assistant. "But it's really about understanding and adapting faster than your opponent." Military research centers across the globe began collaborating in ways they never had before. The alien threat had done what decades of international negotiations could not: create a truly unified human technological response. In underground laboratories, engineers were developing weapons systems that could reconfigure themselves in milliseconds. Prototype drones with adaptive AI could change their entire operational strategy based on millisecond by millisecond battlefield analysis. Meanwhile, satellite networks were being upgraded. Communication systems were being redesigned to handle potential alien interference. Every technological resource humanity possessed was being pushed to its absolute limit. The Korean research team, led by David and Ji-Hoon, became the secret heart of this global technological transformation. They understood something critical. The aliens expected humans to respond with traditional technological approaches. Instead, they were creating something entirely unexpected. Prototype quantum communication devices could now transmit information faster than light. Adaptive armor systems could change molecular structure in microseconds, making traditional weapons essentially useless. AI systems were being trained on millions of potential combat scenarios, learning and evolving faster than any biological intelligence could comprehend. "We're not just building weapons," David told his team. "We're building a completely new approach to technological development." The global scientific community worked with an urgency that was unprecedented. Universities, research centers, military think tanks, everyone was contributing. National boundaries disappeared in the face of a potential extraterrestrial threat. Ji-Hoon's quantum adaptive systems were particularly revolutionary. Imagine a weapon that could understand its environment, predict enemy movements, and change its entire operational strategy in less time than it takes to blink. That was no longer science fiction. It was becoming reality. Satellite imaging showed the alien ship still maintaining its position above Earth. They had no idea what was being prepared beneath them. The humans were quiet, calculating, building, something that would change the very nature of technological warfare. Young researchers worked in shifts, fueled by coffee and an almost supernatural level of motivation. They weren't just defending their planet, they were proving that humanity was something special, something unexpected. Military strategists began integrating these new technologies into comprehensive defense plans. Traditional weapons were being completely redesigned. Tanks that could change shape, aircraft that could transform their entire operational mode in milliseconds, communication systems that could not be intercepted or jammed. "The aliens think we're primitive," one military strategist said during a closed-door meeting. "They have no idea what humans are capable of when we're truly motivated." The global response was unified in a way humanity had never been before. Political differences vanished. Economic competitions were set aside. Every resource, every brilliant mind was focused on a single goal: being prepared for whatever the aliens might do next. David Huang looked at the latest prototype systems, a small smile playing on his lips. The Krelthar thought they were dealing with a simple, predictable species. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Beneath the calm surface of Earth, a technological revolution was brewing. Not just a response to an alien threat, but a complete reimagining of what technology could be. The humans were ready, and they were going to show the galaxy exactly what that meant. The first alien ships dropped out of faster-than-light space, with brutal confidence. Captain Tyke Park believed this would be a simple demonstration of Krelthar military superiority, a quick, decisive strike to remind humans of their place in the galactic hierarchy. Seo Kim gripped her starfighter's control systems, her breathing steady and controlled. Around her, an experimental squadron waited, their adaptive quantum systems humming with potential energy. No one spoke. They didn't need to. The alien invasion fleet appeared massive, hundreds of sleek metallic vessels designed for total destruction. Their weapon systems were considered unbeatable by every known galactic standard. They had conquered civilizations that had existed for thousands of years, but they had never met humans. Earth's defense systems activated with mathematical precision. Not a single moment was wasted. While traditional military strategies would involve complex communication and strategic planning, the human response was different. Adaptive AI systems had been preparing for this moment. They understood the alien ship configurations faster than human minds could process. Quantum communication networks transmitted battle strategies in microseconds, creating a defense grid that was living, breathing, and constantly evolving. SEO Kim's starfighter wasn't just a machine. It was an extension of a comprehensive technological ecosystem that could predict, respond, and counteract alien movements before they even happened. Her helmet displayed information that seemed to dance and shift, showing potential attack vectors, weak points in alien ship designs. The first wave of alien missiles launched, massive energy weapons designed to obliterate entire planetary defense systems. But something unexpected happened. The missiles found themselves redirected, their targeting systems confused by adaptive human technology that seemed to bend the very rules of physics. Target acquired, CO muttered, her fingers moving with surgical precision. The human counterattack was unlike anything the Krelthar had ever witnessed. Starfighters moved in patterns that defied traditional combat logic. They seemed to predict alien movements, slip through defensive shields like ghosts, and strike with devastating precision. Quantum adaptive weapons transformed mid-flight. A missile might start as a traditional explosive device and suddenly become an electromagnetic pulse generator or a hyper-precise surgical strike weapon. The aliens couldn't predict, couldn't defend. In 47 minutes, the entire invasion fleet was destroyed, not damaged, not partially defeated, completely, utterly eliminated. Communication channels across the galaxy picked up fragments of the battle. Other alien civilizations watched in stunned silence as humanity demonstrated a level of technological and strategic thinking that rewrote every known rule of space combat. Back on the Krelthar command ship, Captain Tyke Park watched, in total disbelief. His sophisticated monitoring system showed impossible scenarios, human technology that shouldn't exist, combat strategies that violated every known principle of warfare. "This is impossible," he whispered. But it was happening. SEO Kim's squadron returned to base, their starfighters showing minimal damage. Ground control erupted in controlled celebration. They hadn't just defended Earth, they had sent a message to the entire galaxy. Do not underestimate humans. David Huang watched the battle analysis, his eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. Every moment had been a testament to human ingenuity, to the power of collaborative scientific development, to the unexpected potential of a species that refused to be defined by others' expectations. The first strike was complete. And it was just the beginning. Across research facilities, military bases, and scientific centers, humans understood something profound. They were no longer just a planetary civilization. They were becoming a force that the galaxy would have to reckon with. The Krelthar had come looking for a simple conquest. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, a humanity that, when provoked, would transform technological limitation into unprecedented innovation. The Interstellar Council chamber fell silent when Ambassador Jae-hoon Park walked in. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations watched, a mixture of fear and curiosity in their eyes. Holographic displays flickered, showing recorded moments of the human victory against the Krelthar. Each replay revealed something new, impossible technological maneuvers, adaptive defense systems that seemed to defy known physical laws. "We are not asking for your permission," Jae-hoon began, his voice calm and measured. "We are informing you of our existence." The diplomatic response from Earth was calculated and precise. No apologies, no explanations, just a clear demonstration of capabilities and intentions. Other galactic civilizations had never encountered a species quite like humans. Behind the scenes, intelligence networks across the galaxy were analyzing every piece of data from the human-Krelthar conflict. Military strategists rewatched battle recordings, trying to understand how a supposedly primitive species had defeated such an advanced civilization so completely. The Krelthar diplomatic corps was in total disarray. Their initial reports of human technological capabilities had been dismissed as exaggeration. Now those reports seemed like significant understatements. David Huang and his research team became instant celebrities in diplomatic circles. Their approach wasn't just about military technology, it was about adaptive thinking, about understanding and transforming challenges into opportunities. Alien civilizations that had previously ignored or looked down on humans now scrambled to establish communication channels. Trade negotiations, technology exchange proposals, and diplomatic missions began flooding Earth's communication networks. But humans were selective. They weren't interested in becoming another civilization's client, state, or technological junior partner. They would engage on their own terms. The United Nations Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Corps, led by professionals like Jae-hoon Park, carefully managed every interaction. Each diplomatic meeting was an opportunity to demonstrate human capabilities, without appearing aggressive. Satellite networks and communication systems developed during the conflict now became tools of diplomatic engagement. Quantum communication technologies allowed for unprecedented levels of information exchange and verification. "We are not conquerors," Jae-hoon explained during one critical meeting. "We are explorers, but we will defend ourselves with absolute certainty." The message was clear. Humans were not seeking galactic domination, but they would not be pushed around or treated as a lesser species. Intelligence reports from various alien civilizations began painting a new picture of humanity. No longer were they seen as a primitive species to be conquered or ignored. They were a potentially unpredictable and highly adaptive civilization. Some alien representatives saw opportunity. Others saw potential threat. But none could ignore humans any longer. The Krelthar, once considered the most powerful military force in the known galaxy, found themselves marginalized. Their defeat had exposed weaknesses in their own technological and strategic approaches. Diplomatic negotiations became a complex dance. Humans didn't seek revenge. They sought respect, recognition, and the right to pursue their own path in the galactic community. Research institutions across Earth were flooded with requests for technology exchanges. But humans were careful. They would share, but they would not be exploited. Jae-hoon Park's presentation to the Interstellar Council was a masterpiece of diplomatic communication. He didn't boast, he didn't threaten. He simply presented facts, cold, clear, and undeniable. The human victory was more than a military achievement. It was a statement about potential, about the ability to transform challenge into opportunity. As the diplomatic meetings concluded, one thing became absolutely clear. The galaxy had fundamentally changed. A new player had emerged. Unexpected, unpredictable, and absolutely confident. Humans had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay. The aftermath of the conflict was not about destruction. It was about a new beginning for humanity and for the entire galactic community. 10 years after the Krelthar conflict, human colonies dotted previously unexplored star systems. What had begun as a defensive response had transformed into a calculated, strategic expansion of human civilization. Tyke Park, the once proud Krelthar captain, now worked as a low-level translation assistant in a multicultural space station. His fall from grace was complete, a constant reminder of the day his civilization had underestimated humans. The first human colonies were nothing like traditional planetary settlements. They were living, breathing, technological ecosystems. Adaptive. Habitats could transform based on environmental conditions. Entire cities could reconfigure themselves in hours, responding to challenges that would have destroyed traditional human settlements. Dr. Seo Kim, now the lead researcher of interstellar colonization, viewed each new planet as a complex puzzle to be solved. Her teams didn't just land on planets, they integrated with them. Terraforming technologies developed during the conflict now allowed humans to transform harsh environments into livable spaces in record time. Communication networks expanded faster than any galactic civilization had thought possible. Quantum entanglement communication systems meant that human colonies could maintain real-time connections across impossible distances. Information traveled faster than light, creating a truly connected human civilization. Military technology continued to evolve, but it was no longer just about defense. Human military strategies focused on prevention, on understanding, on creating systems that could resolve conflicts before they began. The United Nations had transformed. No longer a Earth-based organization, it was now a truly interstellar governing body. Diplomatic missions became opportunities for cultural exchange, technological sharing, and mutual understanding. Young humans born in space stations and colony worlds saw themselves differently. They weren't just citizens of Earth, they were citizens of the galaxy. Education systems integrated comprehensive understanding of multiple alien cultures, technologies, and perspectives. David Huang, now a senior advisor to interstellar development, watched the transformation with quiet satisfaction. The conflict with the Krelthar had been more than a military victory. It had been a fundamental reshaping of human potential. Trade became the new battlefield. Human negotiators were known for their ability to create win-win scenarios that benefited multiple parties. Economic strategies were as adaptive as their military technologies had been. Alien civilizations that had once looked down on humans now sought their partnership. Human adaptive technologies were becoming the standard across multiple star systems. What had begun as a defensive response was now driving galactic technological development. Research facilities spread across multiple planets worked on challenges that would have seemed impossible a decade earlier. Diseases were being conquered, environmental challenges solved, new forms of energy developed. The transformation wasn't just technological, it was cultural. Humans had learned that true strength came from understanding, from adaptation, from seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. Space stations became melting pots of multiple alien cultures. Human ability to integrate, to understand, to communicate became legendary. Where other civilizations saw barriers, humans saw bridges. Military power was no longer about destruction. It was about creating stable, cooperative environments. Human peacekeeping forces were sought after across multiple star systems. Tyke Park would sometimes look out at the vast expanses of space, remembering the day his civilization had decided to challenge humans. He had learned the most important lesson: never underestimate a species capable of transforming challenge into opportunity. The human expansion wasn't a conquest. It was an invitation to explore, to understand, to grow together. From a single planet that had been viewed as primitive, humanity had become a civilization that was reshaping the very understanding of potential. They had started as a species fighting for survival. They had become something far more important, a civilization that understood that the greatest technology was the ability to adapt, to learn, to transform.